Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a paracord lighter wrap using the pineapple knot. Basically, this wrap is a pineapple knot tightened around a lighter. As far as supplies for this project go, you're going to need a mandrel, and I'm using one that's about 1 inch in diameter. You're also going to need 2 cords, each of a different color, and for this size of a mandrel, these cords should be about 5 feet long. I have removed the inner strands of these cords and flattened them out to make them lay nicer. You're also going to need a lacing needle and finally a lighter onto which we're going to tighten our knot onto. So with these supplies ready, let's begin. I have attached one of the cords onto the mandrel and we're going to start by making 2 wraparounds. Like this. We're then going to come back over, creating 2 X shapes. Like this. Then come around in between the 2 X's, like this, and out on the right side. We're then going to take our working end and we're going to travel the opposite to this cord on the left. So under, then over, under, over, under and over. I'm going to place my working end next to my standing end and pull through the cord. We're going to continue by doubling up our standing end using our working end. So we already started with an under one, then continue over one, under one, then over, under, and finally over on the right side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go parallel to this cord here. So we're going to enter with an over, then go under, then over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1, and finally over 1. Now pull through the cord. We're going to continue by splitting the 2 parallel cords that we set up, so these 2 cords, and we're going to go between them and do the opposite of what they do. So start with an over, then under, then over 2, under 1, then over 2, under 1, and finally over 1. Now pull through the cord. We're going to split another set of parallel cords. So this set here, and we're going to start with an under, then continue over, then under, over, then under, over under, then over under, over, under, and finally over. With this we have tied a 4-bight base knot And the last thing we do is place our working end next to the standing end, and this completes the knot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in some slack into the knot in order to make it easier to work with. So pull in your working end and pull it through the entire knot and come out the standing end, but leaving just a bit of slack in the knot in order to make it easier to interweave with another knot. As you can see, I have worked in some slack into the knot to make it easier to work with. I have also placed my second cord onto the left side of the standing end of the first cord, and we're going to now start by going under 2, then do a sequence of over 1, under 1 until we reach the right side. We do not exit on the right side, but instead we finish on the last under. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn around and travel towards the left side, starting with an under again. Then go over under, over 2 in order to split a pair, then under 1, then over 1, under 1, over 2 in order to split another pair, then under 1, over 1, and finally under 1. And we're going to now repeat the same sequence, but this time traveling from left to right. So start with an under again, then travel over, under, then over 2 in order to split a pair, and under 1, then over 1, under 1, and over 2 in order to split another pair, then under 1, over 1, and finally under 1. We're now going to start a new sequence, which begins by going under 2 in order to split a pair, then go over 1, under 1, then over 2 again in order to split a pair, then under 2 in order to split a pair. Continue over 1, then under 1, then over 2, under 2 again in order to split 2 pairs. Continue over and under, and we're going to repeat the same sequence again. So from left to right, we're going to start with an under 2, which already splits a pair. Then go over 1, under 1, then over 2, then under 2, then continue over 1, under 1, then over 2, under 2, and finally over 1, under 1. We have now reached another sequence, which is a bit different than the one before. We're going to start with an under 2, then go over 2 and under 1. We're going to continue over 2, then under 2, then do another over 2. Continue under 1, then over 2, under 2, then over 2, and finally under 1. We're going to repeat the same sequence again. So from left to right, we're going to start with an under 2, then continue over 2 and under 1, then go over 2 and under 2, and continue over 2, then under 1, over 2, under 2, over 2, and finally under 1. We now came to the last sequence that we're going to use, and this one is a simple under 2 over 2 almost the entire way towards the left side. So start with an under 2, then continue over 2, then under 2, then over 2 and under 2, over 2, then under 2, over 2 and under 2, then over 2 and under 1. Once we have done this, it is time to place our working end on top of the standing end of the same color, going under 2, and this completes our knot. I'm going to also show you how to modify this knot in order to make it easier to tighten onto a lighter. So we have our pineapple knot here, and I'm going to start by picking up the working end, and I'm going to work it in parallel to the standing end, going under 2, then over 2, and let's say another under 2. You can work it in deeper into the knot, but I think this is quite enough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the standing end out to the point where we worked in the working end. So just pull it out. So like this. With this we did not lose much of a sequence, and we worked in our cords closer to the middle of the knot. I'm now going to do the same thing with the other color. So pick up your working end and go parallel to your standing end. I'm going to again work it in a bit deeper into the knot. And finally, we're going to remove the standing end up to the point where we have worked in our working end. So something like this. So we have worked in all of our ends to the middle of the knot, and we're now going to remove the knot from the mandrel. And then what we're going to do is work in our first color by taking the working end and working it right into the knot and towards the right side. With our standing end, we're going to travel into the knot again and emerge on the left side. We're then going to pick up the other color of cords, starting with our working end, and work it into the knot, then emerge on the right side. Then take your standing end and work it in towards the left side. By doing this, we have worked in our ends onto the top and bottom of our knot, and they are easier to snip off and work with once you have tightened the knot. Now all you need to do is place this knot on top of a lighter, then tighten it and cut the ends. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any issues, please comment and I will try to help you as best as I can. Thank you for joining me and see you next time.